So today I'm testing out a 48-hour foundation. Who is wearing foundation for 48 hours? So today we're testing out the L'Oréal Skin Ink 2-in-1 foundation and concealer to see if this lightweight formula can actually live up to the hype. So it's 0.5 ounces and it has a doe foot. So you can see that. And this is the first time I'm trying it. It's supposed to be transfer proof and have a light, soft matte finish. It's not supposed to cake or it's not supposed to crease. So according to their website, you're supposed to prep your skin. I have my skincare on. I have my unseen goop because it's silicone based, and I put an additional primer on. It says to work in small sections, and so that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna put my hair back and we're gonna check this out. I'm just gonna put some on my hand to show you the shade. It's 140 warm. You can see that. And right away I'm noticing it doesn't have a lot of slip and it kind of grips my hand. Yeah, and it dries down like immediately. So I don't know if you can see. I think it's a really good color match. So we're gonna start applying it and we're gonna see how this goes. So I'm just gonna actually just put it on my face. And I don't think I'm gonna do concealer because it's a 2-in-1. So let's get in here with a brush. So I'm gonna be sleeping in it and I'll be wearing it for about 30 hours. I don't think I can get through 48 hours. And then, you know, I'll check in 8 hours before bed. And a quick disclaimer, I don't recommend sleeping, you know, with your makeup on. I don't think it's great for your skin. So let's check that out. All right, it's got decent coverage, but I'm gonna try it here on my skin damage and maybe a little bit more under here. I'm not loving this doe foot. I feel like it's not giving me a lot of product, so I'm gonna try to shake it up, which I forgot to do earlier. So I think if you have dry skin, mature skin texture, pores, or fine lines, you will want to stick around to see how this goes. So let's see. Get around my nose. So I'm not sure I'm loving sort of the application. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of product. So let's see. All right, that's probably better. And I'm going to be wearing just powder, blush, highlighter, and bronzer, and just setting it with like a powder, a pressed powder, because I think it's just gonna be easier overnight. All right, so that gives pretty good coverage, I think. It's pretty soft and matte, not quite covering my sun damage, but okay. So now we're gonna work on this section, and let's see if we can get like a big swipe of this. All right, and I did one of these virtual try-ons online, but I think the shade is fine. But I think the important thing with this is to definitely prep your skin, make sure it's hydrated, because this definitely grips your skin almost like immediately. So I'm just gonna go in with like my concealer hourglass brush here. Get around my nose. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's really a great idea to work in really small sections because this does set really quickly. And they don't recommend using a blender sponge, so I'm not. So I'm just gonna try a little more. Let's see if we can build this up a little bit here. And then we will get into our powders. So far it feels really nice. There's no scent and it's going on surprisingly smooth for something that's doesn't have a lot of slip and really kind of grips. So I just want to show you close up. So I feel like this is more of a medium coverage. I don't know about the concealer, but we'll see in the hours to come if it sits around my nose, my pores, my fine lines, any areas. But I just want to put some here to use as a concealer. We'll see. So I'm just going to tap. I'm not even going to use my fingers here because, again, it dries down so quickly that I'm afraid that it would just get more on my fingers than my face. Okay. I mean, I think it's got pretty good coverage. I probably would want to use a regular concealer if I were doing like a full face of makeup, but it's actually not that bad. Okay, so I think we've layered it on, but I'm just gonna go in here because I see that it's not blended as well. And I also want to see if this stays smooth throughout the day with my other makeup on. So I'm just going to do another quick check, see around my nose. Okay, so this kind of pretty much melded into my skin. I think the color is good. Again, it was a 140 warm. I have normal to dry to very dry skin in the winter. I'm a light medium, warm neutral undertones, and some olive undertones. So I'm a little bit of everything, it seems like. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do my Yves Saint Laurent. This is their Peachy Nude. I really love this packaging with the embossed, like it's like leather-like. Very pretty. So this is peach. Now I would regularly use like the cream that went on a lot. All right, so this also like grips the brush, and we're going to fix this with a sponge because that is way too much. And this is their Peachy Nude. Okay, so right away you have to be really careful with your powder because it also kind of really grips the powder. Wow. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go in with my Hourglass and see if I can get this to look a little better. I like this on the apples of my cheek. So obviously way too much blush. This really it really gripped it, as you can see. So let me just step back. All right, so note to self, if I do make the skin tint part of my regular routine, definitely powder, a light hand, and probably better off with cream, which I would normally use anyway rather than powder. So I'm trying to just kind of tone this down a bit. Okay, so that was my lovely Yves Saint Laurent blush. Then I'm going in with my e.l.f. powder bronzer, just a little bit here and here. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, I feel like definitely powder with this foundation is probably not gonna be the best choice, but because I'm sleeping in this and I just don't want to make a complete mess, I'm just gonna put a little bit here and a little bit up here. So I think the key for this is a light hand. Okay, so I'm not really sure how this is marketed, 48 hours. I think it would probably be good for people who work like long shifts, like doctors, nurses, flight attendants, fire people. So I'm just gonna do a little highlighter. This is my Wet n Wild Precious Petals. And I'm just gonna, let's see if this grips immediately. Yep, so just a little bit. All right, and lastly, I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal setting and blurring powder, although I'm not really sure, you know, it's not that necessary, but we'll see. Let's see what it sets up. Tone this down. So the true test will start now. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna check in maybe 6 hours, then before bed, then when I wake up, and then I'll probably wear it throughout the day tomorrow. It's early morning here now, so we'll see how it fares throughout the day. But so far, I think it's a good shade. I don't recommend sleeping in your makeup. Again, this is just strictly for testing purposes. So for now, it looks good. I feel like it's set. I think the shade is good. I think using powder on top of this is not the best idea. I think creams would be best. And so I'm gonna test it out for a couple of hours, come back and let you know how we go. And I'm gonna actually give you a look in more natural light. So we're just walking into my kitchen and let me get to a window so you can see what it looks like in natural light. So, okay, all right. So yeah, it's a good match. I don't know if I should have blended a little bit better here, going with my fingers a little bit. But yeah, this is definitely a softer matte. Definitely grips your skin, and I'll be testing it out throughout the day and into tomorrow. And I'm not wearing any eye makeup or mascara. I might put a little lipstick on later if I run out, but otherwise, this is it. So I'll see you soon. I'm just checking in. This is about the 5-hour mark with the L'Oreal Skin Ink tint. And I just want you to see the powder, blush, and highlighter and bronzer have not moved. I have not touched up. I have not done anything. Now I'm in the car, I'm running errands. I put a little like lip balm on, but I do see it's almost like a line of demarcation here. I feel like it really grips, and it dries down so fast that you have to work really, really fast with this particular foundation. Now I see it kind of, it's in my pores, and my skin does feel a bit dry because, again, it feels like this just grips and takes all the moisture out of your skin, basically. So I'm gonna check in again tonight, probably before bed. Maybe I'll do an 8-hour. This is about the 5-hour mark. But I see on camera here that like the bronzer is really showing up. It doesn't look as bad, I think, when I'm just looking in a mirror, but the makeup has not really moved. So for that, I suppose it's good. But for dry skin, I think it takes like moisture out of your skin. So I'll check back in a little bit. All right, we're at the 8-hour check-in with the new L'Oreal Skin Ink tint, and honestly, I have mixed feelings. The good news is that it's still on my skin. I haven't touched up the powdered or blotted today, and we're seeing exactly what it's like after 8 hours. Up close, I'm noticing that some of the glow has faded, and it's starting to look a little dry around my mouth, definitely my chin, settling slightly in here in the texture, which is something to watch out for with mature skin. The coverage has held up reasonably well. My powdered blush and highlighter still on, not really breaking apart or looking patchy, which is a positive here too. And, you know, it's really not giving me that glowy, hydrated look. So if you have normal to combo skin, you might have a different experience. But for me, it's looking a bit tired at this point in the day, and it does feel dry. So after 8 hours, this isn't a complete fail, but it's probably not a foundation that I'd be reaching for over and over. I'm trying to think how I could make it work, maybe mixing it with maybe an oil, the Danessa oil primer, or mixing it with another maybe serum foundation, but it grips and dries down so quickly that I'm not sure that would work. I'm also trying on some fake lashes, just the clusters that are glueless. So that's why you see my eyes. This one is already coming off, so that's why it's in the testing phase. So I will check in tonight before going to bed. It's bedtime, and we're at the final check-in for tonight with the new L'Oreal Skin Ink tint. I've had this on for about 14 hours on my dry, mature skin. The coverage has definitely faded, especially around my nose and my chin, and it's definitely caked here, if you can see. Otherwise, it looks pretty decent. It's still on. My skin still feels like dry, like this has kind of sucked the life out of it a little bit. So we'll see how I do overnight. My blush has faded a little bit, but not as much as, you know, I thought it would. So this foundation, like I said earlier, really grips whatever powder you're putting on it. So I think cream is really the way to go. But it's holding up pretty good, I think, for 14 hours. But yeah, it's starting to kind of like show, you know, some cracks here. So we'll see how it goes when I wake up. I'll see you in the morning with another little report. Good morning. I literally just woke up, and this is the L'Oreal Skin Ink tint after about 24 hours. There is no real foundation or anything on my pillowcase, and I'm just gonna head into my bathroom so we can take a look in better light. So I feel like I see a little bit of blush still on. That's pretty amazing. So let's take a look here. Okay, it's definitely worn down and off. Still some foundation. Coverage is still kind of hanging in there, but definitely some caking here. Hasn't really settled, a little bit in my pores here. Forehead is good. Blush is still on a little bit. So it's held up pretty well. It doesn't feel as dry as it did yesterday. So, all right, this is my morning check-in, and I'm gonna do one more check-in at the 30-hour mark, and I'll
be back soon.
So this is my final check-in on the L'Oreal Skin Ink Tint Foundation after wearing it for approximately 30 hours, which of course I don't recommend. After the amount of wear time, I have mixed feelings. The biggest thing I noticed that it felt drying on my skin, especially as time went on, and even yesterday at the 8-hour mark. It also started to cake slightly on my cheeks, which of course isn't my favorite look, and I just want you to see right here, and it's a little bit caking here. Now, on the plus side, my blush stayed in place longer than I thought. Unfortunately, the concealer, completely gone, because you can still see, my dark circles, and not looking really great by the end. I don't think this is a good match for my mature, dry skin, but I'm not really ready to give up on it. I think over the next month, I'm going to test it out, maybe using the Danessa Myricks Beauty Oil underneath as a primer, and pair it with all cream products instead of powders to see if that helps with the dryness and texture issue. I also might just try it as a concealer and see if that works better for me. So I don't think this formula would work for dry, mature skin, but maybe for someone with combination or oily skin, because now after 30 hours of wear, I'm calling this one a maybe. So I'll keep testing, and if I find a way to make it work, I'll definitely come back with an update video, but I'll try it also as a concealer. So let me know if you've tried it and what your experience has been. Now I'm gonna hop in the shower and watch this off. L'Oreal recommends a double cleanse, so that's exactly what I'll do, and I can't wait to moisturize my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.